Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be covering is recapping the games from yesterday and all the action that happened with it. Then we'll be doing our first power rankings of the season. I figured it's Friday, so I'm going to start doing it. Got to talk about it eventually. And last but not least, we'll be recapping some other minor news around the league. Now, before we do that, I'd ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read on the air, please use the link gsmcspodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get right into the show. All right, so as I said, we're going to be recapping the games from yesterday. Now, usually, in our first segment, of course, I do split this into the NL and AL games because there's so many games to talk about that I could not fit all the games into a 15-minute segment. But there was only 6 games yesterday, so I figured we could talk about it in one, and then after that we'll have more time for the power rankings after. So yeah, today a little different with this only being with the games only being one segment, not two. But so let's get straight into it. So while we did have 6 games, two were the same games. We had a doubleheader yesterday from the Mets and Tigers. So let's go to the first one here. The Mets looking to win their first game of the season, being 0-4 so far. So let's see how they do. Bottom of the third here, superstar catcher Francisco Alvarez hits an RBI double to score Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso in the bottom of the third to get them on the board real early. Nice job by the Mets offense to finally capitalize on something. They had not been hitting well at all, so it's nice for one of the actual good guys in this team to get a hit. Then the bottom of the fifth, Brett Beatty, who's been having a really great start to the season so far, very surprising I'd say, hits an RBI single to make a 3-0 Mets early in the fifth, so everything's going right there. Tigers start to creep back a little bit with Andy Ibanez hitting a sacrifice fly in the top of the sixth to make it 3-1. Then it starts getting worrying if you're a Mets fan with Jake Beekman throwing a wild pitch to score Gio Urshela to make it 3-2. And then the big blow comes in the top of the eighth where Riley Green does hit a solo home run, his second of the season, to tie up the game 3-3 and have the Mets blow a lead. Now, in the top of the 11th, Colt Keith hits an RBI double, his first extra base hit as a major leaguer, making it 4-3 Detroit. And Gio Urshela then hits an RBI single against the former city he played in to make it 6-3, which would just crush the Mets' hopes and dreams as they would then fall to 0-5. So, a pretty awful game there by the Mets to blow that, continuing their streak of how awful the season has started. Going to the pitching side now, you had Adrian Hauser going, who went 5 innings, giving up only 3 hits and 1 earned run. That's really all you can ask for from a 5-starter. I mean, that's what Hauser is. He's a stereotypical 5-starter, doesn't get hurt much, and just provides bulk innings that are okay, around 5 or 6 innings, maybe 1 to 3 runs. So 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run is really all I could ask for out of the 5-starter. I'm happy with his performance. It's just unfortunate that the offense was just so incompetent to start. At the end, I should say, not to start, because they were great at the start, but just so incompetent at the end and did not do anything about it, about the lead and coming back. And also the bullpen blew it. Michael Tonkin has been less than stellar to start the season for the Mets. We'll be talking about him later as well. Casey Mize went for the Tigers, was not great, going 4 1/3 innings, giving up 5 hits and 3 earned runs. Not exactly the start you want from Mize, a guy who was the former first overall pick, who you really want to come back and have a great season after coming off injury. Giving up those kind of numbers to a Mets offense that has been dead for a little while now is not great, but it's only the second start of the season for him. You really want him to bounce back, and I believe he can, and I believe he will. Next, we have the second game of this single admission doubleheader in Queens. Top of the second here, we had Javier Baez hitting an RBI single against his former team to open the scoring up. That would be all that happened for a long time, as the Mets not have a hit for 13 innings, if I got that correct. And then finally in the 7th, Harrison Bader would hit a bloop single and that nothing would come about it, as we would have to wait till the bottom of the ninth for the Mets to do something about it. In the bottom of the ninth, Pete Alonso hits his second home run of the season, tying the game up at 1. A huge home run for Pete and a huge home run for the Mets, finally showing some life. And finally, Tyrone Taylor would be up with Brett Beatty on second. He would hit an RBI single to score Beatty and finally get the Mets a win, a walk-off win nonetheless, to get some good vibes going around this team finally. I mean, they've just had such a horrible start to the season that winning a game is such a great accomplishment right now, which, as sad as that seems, it is. So I'm really glad that the Mets finally got a win, and hopefully it gets them going. They're playing a good team tonight in the Reds, 6:40, a really nice time. So I'm really hoping that they can do well and beat them. So yeah, that's all you can ask for right now. After that, we had Pirates Nationals. Starting off with the top of the first here, Jack Sawinski hits a sacrifice fly to score O'Neill Cruz, making it 1-0 Pittsburgh early. Then Rowdy Tellez hits an RBI single to score 2 to make it 3-0 Pittsburgh. So a really nice job by them getting out front early. And then Henry Davis hits a sacrifice fly to make it 4-0. So even better job by them. Top of the second here, we had Brian Reynolds hitting an RBI single to Jacob Young in right field to score Michael A. Taylor to make it 5-0 Pittsburgh. It's really just strong start out of the gate by this team, by this offense. Now Washington will start to come back a tiny bit with Jesse Winker hitting an RBI single to score Joey Gallo. A really nice start to the season by Jesse Winker in a Nationals uniform. Very surprising, I'd say, but good job for him to kind of get his career back on track a little bit. Connor Joe would then say no to that and hit a 2-run home run, making it 7-1 Pittsburgh. So nice job by him to counter that RBI with an RBI of his own. Bottom of the fifth, C.J. Abrams would hit a solo home run, his second of the season, to make it 7-2. Bottom of the eighth now, Trey Lipscomb, who just came up after the Nick Senzel injury, hits an RBI single to score Joey Gallo to make it 7-3 Pittsburgh. Luis Garcia Jr. would then hit an RBI single to score Jared Triolo. Jesse Winker, Jared Triolo's on the Pirates. That's what he hit it to score Jesse Winker to make it 7-4. Unfortunately, while the Nationals did fight to come back, there will be no match for the almost undefeated Pittsburgh Pirates now, who'd end up winning the game 7-4. So another strong win by the Pirates. Yes, they haven't played that great of teams, but all these wins they've had have still been quality wins, been scoring a lot, pitching well. So I'd be happy right now if I was a Pirates fan. Josiah Gray went for the Nationals. He was not good. 4 1/3 innings, giving up 6 earned runs. Awful start to the season so far, having a 14 ERA. Not good whatsoever. So you really need him to step it up if the Nationals want to do anything positive this season. Yes, they're rebuilding, but Josiah Gray is one of the younger guys you're looking forward to as one of the guys you can rely on as for being a future star for your team. So you really need him to come together with that. Pirates had Martin Perez going. He went 6 2/3, 2 earned runs, 6 hits. A really, really strong outing by Martin Perez. Look, man, I've been criticizing the Pirates' pitching efforts, getting Martin Perez, getting Mark Gonzalez, but they've pitched really well to start, and if they can continue with this, the Pirates are going to be a scary team. They already have some nice pieces there with, of course, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones. They have some guys coming up through the ranks as well, and if Mark Gonzalez and Martin Perez, if they can perform for whatever reason, again, I'm not very high on them, as you can tell, I think that would make the Pirates an actual nasty team and an actual team you have to watch out for. So I think if you're a Pirates fan, that's really all you can ask for right now and really can hope for. So, yeah, we're going to watch how that goes, and we're going to watch and see what does happen there with that. Next game we'll be talking about is a divisional matchup with the Guardians and Twins. Guardians are off to a very strong start this season, so let's see if they can continue that. Top of the fourth here, Jose Ramirez hits an RBI single to Max Kepler to score Stephen Kwan, making it 1-0. In the same inning, Guardians would also score 2 more with a Tyler Freeman RBI single and a Will Wren sacrifice fly, making it 3-0. Then, bottom of the fifth, the Twins would start to do something to come back a little bit with an Eduardo Julian solo home run to make it 3-1 Cleveland. So a nice job by the youngster hitting his first home run of the season, looking to build off his really strong season of last year to have another strong one here. Ryan Rokikio reached on a fielding error by Carlos Correa, scoring Will Brennan to make it 4-1. Then in the bottom of the seventh, a wild pitch by pitcher Hunter Gaddis would score Willie Castro to make it 4-2 Cleveland, but would be no match as the Twins would not score anymore and would concede to their division rival, making it a final score of 4-2 Cleveland, and Minnesota would lose. So a really strong start to the season by Cleveland. I mean, they're 6-2 right now, 3-3 for Minnesota. So I don't know if you can ask for much more if you're a Guardians fan. I mean, they've been a surprise team right now, and it's early, but they've showed a lot of potential, and their young hitting core has been doing pretty well. The pitching's been performing, of course. So if I'm a Guardians fan, I'd be happy with what's going on right now, and I'd be hopefully looking to what the future can hold for this team. So, yeah. Looking at the pitching scores here, you had Pablo Lopez going, your ace. He went 5 2/3, giving up 3 earned runs, only 2 strikeouts, but only 1 walk. So an interesting start by Lopez. This isn't the greatest start by him, especially against an offense like Cleveland, where they aren't the most electric team, I should say. So you definitely want more out of him, but it wasn't horrible. So I'm not gonna, chew on him too much here. For the Guardians, they had Tanner Bybee here going. With him, he went 5 1/3, giving up 1 earned run, only 5 hits. 9 strikeouts, no walks, so a really, really strong outing by Bibee. Broke out last year, was a Rookie of the Year candidate, and is hoping to build off it this year. I think he's going to be one of the big parts of this Guardians rotation, and I think he has a really strong future ahead of him, and I think he's going to be really, really good. So definitely excited to watch Bibee as the seasons go on and see what he can do. Next game we have is Marlins-Cardinals, two teams that have not gotten off to great starts, so Marlins don't even have a win, so let's hope they can get their first win of the season here. So in the bottom of the second, we had Ivan Herrera, the new backup catcher for St. Louis, hitting in a solo home run bottom of the second to make it 1-0. Jake Berger would then tie up the game in the top of the fourth against his hometown team, making it 1-1. Josh Bell would then hit a 2-run home run in the top of the fifth to make it 3-1, and Jake Berger would hit his second home run of the game back in his hometown, like I said, making it 4-1. So yeah, really strong showing by the Marlins offense at this part, and they're looking to get their first win of the season here. Cardinals would have other plans, as in the bottom of the fifth, Paul Goldschmidt would hit an RBI groundout to score Michael Ciani to make it 4-2. Nolan Arenado would then hit an RBI double to make it 4-3, scoring Victor Scott to make the Cardinals just creep back into this game, coming back little by little. Top of the sixth here, a wild pitch by Matthew Liberatore would score Tim Anderson to make it 5-3 Miami. Ivan Herrera would then hit an RBI single to make it 5-4, and Nolan Arenado with the big swing to make it 6-5 with an RBI double, scoring Ivan Herrera. Sorry, Nolan Gorman hit that. My apologies. Scoring Nolan Arenado. I got the Nolans mixed up. That's my fault there. But he would come with the big swing there, making it 6-5 St. Louis and taking the lead. And that would take all the life out of the Marlins, as it would then become 8-5 from an Alec Burleson RBI single and a Mason Wynn RBI triple. So the Marlins would then lose their 8th straight game to start the season. Just an unfathomable start to the season. I mean, it's so bad. I don't know what to say at this point. I mean, man, they've been really, really bad, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. So if I'm a Marlins fan, I'd be worried right now. I'm not going to lie to you. Next game we have is a divisional matchup of the White Sox and Royals. Bottom of the second here, you had Nelson Velasquez hit an RBI single to score MJ Melendez. Nelson Velasquez had a really strong start to the season, and it's good that he continues with it. He would then homer in the bottom of the fourth, his second one of the season, to make it 2-0. Again, keeping up with that, what I've said, he's had a really, really great start to the season, and I think he's going to be a future cornerstone for this Royals team. Andrew Vaughn would try to get the White Sox back in the game, making it 2-1 with an RBI single, scoring Yoan Moncada. But the Royals would then run with the game, making it then 4-1 with a Kyle Isbell RBI single, 5-1 with a Michael Garcia RBI single, 8-1 with a Salvador Perez fielder's choice, and then a fielding error by Brendan Schumacher. Then 10-1 with a MJ Melendez home run, his first home run of the season, to make it 10-1, as I said, all in the bottom of the seventh. So a really strong outing by this Royals offense and team. Again, the White Sox are a bad team, and you have to capitalize off games you play against them. You have to do well. So I'm glad that the Royals did, and it's a good job by them. Going to the box scores here, the White Sox, they had Michael Soroka going. He went 6 innings, giving up only 6 hits and 2 earned runs. So he was not in when the big explosion of offense happened by Kansas City, and he had a really strong start, in my opinion. Now, he hasn't had a great start to the season, but I still believe in him. I still think he has something left in the tank, and I think it was a good job by the White Sox to acquire him. I think he's going to be a valuable piece as the season does unfold, and I'm honestly looking forward to his season and seeing if he does come back to form. I mean, he had such a great rookie season. Was it a little fluky? Yes. Did he get luck a little bit? Yes, but I still think he can be a quality MLB pitcher in this league, and I'm looking forward to watching his career with the White Sox and seeing what does happen over the next couple of years. With the Royals, they had their new addition, Seth Lugo, going, who's really strong. Yes, it's the White Sox offense, but you can only beat the opponents you play. So Lugo went 6 2/3, giving up 8 hits, but only 1 earned run and 3 strikeouts. So .71 ERA to start the season. Been very, very good, and looks like a great addition already by the Royals front office. After that, you had Angel Zerpa going out of the bullpen for relief. Matt Sauer, and then Jordan Lyles closing it out to get to close out the 10-1 win for Kansas City. So a really strong a really strong game by them to beat their division rival. Yes, the White Sox are not good, but again, you can only beat the people you play. So I think it was a really strong start, really strong game by them. So that was our first segment here, talking about the games of yesterday and the action. We're moving on to our second segment here, which is going to be talking about NL Power Rankings. It is Friday, so I want to make this a new thing where I do Power Rankings at the end of the week and just talk about where I have each team placed. So yeah, we'll be talking about that, and we'll be starting with NL first, but we'll first see you after the break and talk about this then. So see you after that, and bye. Thanks.